Are you helping me with the computer? Or you just want some pets? You're a permeister. There's Theo, sleeping. They always have to be with me when I'm doing computer stuff. Is Theo too sleepy for you? He won't snuggle? Show everybody your big, beautiful eyes. Yeah. 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 Big, beautiful eyes. I keep trying to show your eyes and you keep moving your... You want to play. You have a loud purr. It's like a little engine. Okay. Say goodbye. Getting ready for our Patreon paint along, and of course we already had an argument about microphones. I can't even hold the phone still.
He's very passionate about microphones.
No, it's because you snapped at me. I was just putting the microphone there. Didn't even want you to do anything about it.
Obviously that's his version.
Well, I would like to play back the video, but I didn't video it.
Okay. So I guess you can see if this shows up.
Oh, all right. I'll see if that camera is showing up.
So it's going to be my first try at doing the acrylic setup I'm going to use in Scotland.
So you're using a lot of golden paints?
Yeah, I've got different types, but yeah, these are all goldens. I have a little thing that I'm going to get where I actually going to squeeze the paint into it beforehand that seals, so I won't have to bring all the paint with me, but just to try it.
You mean like you put it out at the hotel or wherever, and it's a
little container. It's a short little container. It has about 24 little squares.
Yeah, I'll film that.
So yeah. I can put that in there.
And we just bought these little things from like Walmart. They're little,
yeah.
You can like actually seal them. So.
Actually, I just tried it. This doesn't actually seal. If I turn it over, the water starts coming out. So, it's okay for just a water
All right, so
bottle,
we need something that screws
I
closed.
actually ordered a different thing that collapses as a water thing for...
Oh, well, I've had those before.
Yeah, I mean, it's a small one.
It's so funny, over years, we probably ordered 5 of those. I think I probably just threw out some.
I put this in here because I'm going to use this as my white. I put this in before I left. This is really thick.
Just gesso.
Gesso. But it's not just a regular, it's really thick, heavy body, and so then you can use that and paint with it a little bit more. I don't have to try to squeeze it out.
Because you like thick paint.
Tubes. Yeah. So I thought this would be good to have in these things. And
here's some white, but this is a little bit thinner.
That's white.
You have your spray bottle, you have your little tray. It fits kind of in your pochade box.
Yeah, I can actually just do it in the pochade box too. I'll probably mostly be doing it.
Oh, but then won't the acrylic just kind of build up in there?
I'll show you this. Well, this is just oil, so it's sealed.
No, but I mean, it won't be hard to clean up the acrylic afterwards.
It won't be hard. And anyways, this here is actually one of those boards that we use.
Oh, okay. And you're going to be able to get it
out.
out.
So I just taped it in here so that if I ever need to take it out, I can take
razor
it out.
blade
I don't have
to
scrape all my. Well, yeah, I just take the tape off the side.
So you just have these kind of trays.
Yeah, these just go inside each other, so I can have them. When I have my, I was stupid. I can't use my. I was going to do the whole setup as I'm going to do it, but this arm I brought. I'm using smaller canvases on our trip.
Yeah.
I brought the smaller arm, which I'll travel with, but it actually won't fit this canvas.
Yeah, yeah. And you wouldn't be using stretch canvas on the trip anyways.
But we'll film the actual setup.
And what's this for?
So this is called the retarder.
Oh.
So it slows down the drying. So if I add a little drop into this in the acrylics, it'll take 15 minutes for them to dry.
Okay.
And then I also have this here, which is the gloss medium. So it's just like it's a thin version of acrylics, but it's gloss. So if I add a little bit of that into my piles of acrylics, when I paint on here, it'll stay glossy. I won't draw a different
And that's the
color.
photo you actually took from our trip to France a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Those were the models that were posing for my workshop.
Ocean and
I recognize that dress because that was one of my dresses that I brought.
Yeah. Yeah, we just dressed her up as a...
And this is just a regular kind of, cheap canvas board that is this acrylic on top of this?
It's acrylic. It's an acrylic prime canvas just from Diaries or somewhere. And then I just toned it with acrylics. Scott,
you laid out your paints and you added some of that extender.
And then the gloss medium.
So you kind of have two palettes. You put your Akana paints up here and then you mix down there.
Yeah, just because I have this.
Just because you like to use a lot of paint.
I'm going to have one on one side and have one of these palettes, and the other side I have them be clipped on here. And then I'll have the middle palette I'll be using. So, but since I'm set up for this today, I'm just doing it this way. Yeah, because otherwise this takes over so much.
Right.
All right, so I'm going to start.
And you just use your regular oil painting brushes. For you, it doesn't matter.
I have to decide if I want to sketch this out first. I might sketch a little bit with charcoal and then paint on top of that. So, let's see, that'll show up. So I'm just going to kind of place it with this. Decide where I want to have her.
So really, it's only important that you see the sketch. I tell people when I'm doing demos and stuff and you're just using placement, sometimes you're just doing it so lightly. Yeah. It's really just for you. It doesn't have to be for other people. This is just for you to make sure you have the size correct.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to decide how much of this I want to show. I might make it a little bigger. I don't need her hand to show in the whole thing, so I'm going to make it a little bigger here. That's what's nice about sketching it out, is you can kind of figure out what composition.
And this is just a charcoal vine.
Just a medium.
Just a medium, yeah.
Vine charcoal. This I think is the nitrum.
Okay.
So yeah. So just kind of just place it. I don't need it detailed, but just to figure my composition out. Kind of size.
Scott's palette. So you really only used one palette. You really didn't even try to use this second.
I started to, but I realized I don't actually need to have a second palette because I just paint right into paint. So
this is the only water, so you don't need a clean water?
Yeah, I haven't had to clean
I guess
it, so
because it doesn't really matter to you.
I'll put some clean out when I clean my brushes.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't really. I mostly just painted. Yeah, it's kind of what's fun about this is it's easy to kind of go over things and slightly lighten and darken things out and add color.
Well, that's why I wanted you to get up, because I feel like you're sitting so close. It's hard to actually
it's hard to get up here. Normally I would stand. It was just with the computers and stuff. It was
You're human like everybody.
But yeah, no, definitely at home or out or at home I'll be standing unless we have a model from life.
The last couple days I stayed home and I worked on videos, and yesterday Scott and I did a live stream for our Patreon, which was really fun. And I feel a little bit, I'm in one of those limbo times where I feel like I have so much to do and I have a lot of things started, and it's hard to keep working on one piece until it's finished. So I tend to start a lot of things. And today what I felt like I would do was, I'm gonna show you guys this. I came to my studio and found, let's see, how many are there? 7 boards that I had painted on already. And then I have this lead alkyd ground. You know, I just have all kinds of boards down in here, things that I've painted over time. And I mean, to be perfectly honest, oh gosh, let me compute how much I've spent on these. How long have I spent on those pieces? It's almost embarrassing to think about, because some of these pieces I tried to fix, and then I tried to fix. And it actually, it's a little bit of a cleansing of the spirit today, the fact that I determined that I wasn't going to fix these anymore, you know. Working on them more was not going to make them better. Yeah. So, God, if I was to estimate, I mean, I'm gonna say a good 2 weeks. It actually breaks my heart in a way. But 2 weeks of painting and not thinking that that painting was going anywhere, that it was me trying to figure things out, but I should have just started over much earlier. That's the lesson that I keep trying to learn in my old age, and sometimes I just don't learn it.
Hey, come on in.
Hey,
We're having fun.
We're reading for our video.
I needed to document Scott's play date.
You never say from Sue with the
Oh,
No.
So what is Michael?
No, don't look.
Oh, he's doing a UFO. No, it looked a little bit like a UFO.
It does look like a spaceship.
Until I was like, oh.
I wanted to, well.
That's cool. Yeah,
wanted to
getting
try to
that
get
yellow kind of in the lights
yeah.
and everything.
And then maybe have a crazy background.
Okay.
And then, how did they get there? And, yeah, make it a little abstract.
Totally. Kind of science fiction-y.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I don't know.
Totally.
This is a friend of his car, he said.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Yeah,
What kind of car is that?
It's an Aston Martin Laconda.
Oh, it looks very it looks like that optical illusion, like it doesn't really have
Looks like
Oh,
a
wait.
hovering.
yeah, like it's all flat
Oh yeah,
or
it
something.
has no tires.
Yeah. And Scott's working on his little.
This one I blocked in.
This is from
months
San
ago.
Antonio when we went to the Fiesta
Exactly.
kind of rodeo.
That wonderful girl, yeah. And her family.
Neat. Oh, cool.
I thought I'd start working on it a bit
Oh,
more.
might as well. Excellent.
Taking a break from
Working. Joe's doing good on the path out
Oh,
there.
it's looking great, I know.
I know, finally.
What have you been up to today?
I was at my studio. I had computer stuff. I was like organizing it for an online thing tomorrow. So I was just getting it ready, and then I just had computer stuff. Oh, I had to return stuff. I went into the pool and hung out with a friend for a little bit. Oh, and this is the one Scott's working on. At first, Scott, I didn't know what that was.
I know.
I thought it was a quarter. I was like, why did he put a quarter
It's
in?
an ammonite, and I'm going to actually add, not exactly right there, that's just to remind me of my idea.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to add, because George is so much into
This is a bust of George Carlson.
all of that. I'm going
Are
to
you
add.
actually doing that? Like you?
So this is made out of
Yeah.
wax.
Well, I
You started
sculpted it
years ago.
several years ago. I did it in like a week.
I've been
half a
looking
week.
at that.
And so it's been
wondering
up there,
what
but
it
I meant to. We just saw George at the Pric, George and Pam, and I had taken photos of him, and we'd done some sculptures. He kind of showed me how to do sculpture at his studio one
Well, see,
time.
this is like
And so I've
wax.
just done those handfuls.
And you heat it up in like
you did
turkey.
that
And it's
physical
like-
wax.
No, yeah,
I
like
did
those
that in
little.
George, and so I
Scott, what
did
is it called? Those metal things that you heat up the wax in?
Oh, it's over here.
But what's it called?
It's just like a what do you call it? Like a turkey cooker? I don't know
Oh,
what you call it.
oh,
It's over here.
yeah. It's kind of retro, but that's what you said George told
That's
you
what
to
George
use.
uses. Everybody. John Coleman was using it for his demo at the Pric with clay.
And you put the wax in there, and
Put
it
the
kind of
wax
just
in there,
cooks it.
And then you turn the heat up, and I have a little dial, and I have it marked to where it gets liquid, where it's soft, where it's a little harder and harder. So you put the wax in there, and then I dial it to where I can just scoop it out and put it on there.
Mm-hmm.
It's real, it's like buttery. Then as it cools, it gets harder and harder. And you can carve into it then, or you can just put a heat lamp on it, and then you can rework things. as
Right.
like
Now, how
that.
long ago did you start this bust of George? How many years
I
ago?
would say maybe, is it 10 years maybe?
Probably a
10
really
years
long
ago?
time.
These are the ones I've done. Like
Yeah,
the
so
line
I'll
and
film
stuff.
it once you start working on it a little bit more and you
Yeah.
got more done on it.
I think I'm gonna make it a little more of abstract things and to go into like a little bit of a story of George. So partly his portrait
fun.
and partly the things he's interested in. You know, like
Cool. Well, it's
Yeah.
just, and this was the little drawing that you started last Saturday when you were helping me film.
yeah.
So beautiful. So it's sort of like a pastel pencil on just like a watercolor board that you had toned. I like how high key it is. I was telling Scott that reminded me of Alphonse Mucha. And she's playing a harp. Are you going to put the harp in?
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent. Beautiful. We turned our spare bedroom into a meditation workout room. Now, it needs to be painted, but we took the king size bed out, and that's where I would always kind of lay my clothes out for packing, but we just don't get enough visitors. And I have a sleeper couch in my studio outside if I need it. The last couple days, Scott and Joe have been painting our porches. So, and they did some work on my studio, and they're doing work on, I mean, it's like major, and they're gonna still have to paint the floor here, but can you think about all that work? We don't even use these porches. They're I mean, I always feel like I would use them if they were screened in, but they're not. So we have a really old bike. It works, it's great, it's a Kaiser. I just bought one of these, it's like an under the desks treadmill. I have an infrared heating lamp, which is funny. I'm so gullible, I'll buy anything. But no, but this is really good for, it's supposed to be extremely good for light, like healing light, right? And I bought these pads to do stretching. We even have some more weights, bolsters. I have a weighted vest, candle, my little Buddha. I actually have a little gong right there. So I'm gonna get that. Some balls. This can sit here and meditate. This mirror will put up on that wall. These things are great for like lymphatic systems and for stuff like that. And I figure like when it's really nice out, I can ride the bike or walk and look out the window, right? And we can always put an air conditioning unit in here. But just saying, this is, I didn't know what to do with that chair, so I kept it here. But this is our spare bedroom that is now actually going to be used. That is a painting. Someday I'll do a profile of it that Scott did of me at the Palette and Chisel when we first met. And that is a figure drawing from George Carlson. That is a print from Richard Schmid that my dad bought at the Palette and Chisel auction, gosh, in the 90s, mid-90s. And that is a poster of Carl Larsson, a Swedish, sorry, it doesn't have non-glare glass, but I love Carl Larsson, so that is, I just thought I would show you. Scott painted this whole porch, and he's now going to paint the floors today. See, we've been bad because we let it get weathered a little bit too much. The last time we had this painted, I think I painted it in the about 25 years ago. No, more about 25 years ago. So it shows you how long we've waited. The cool thing about these porches is that they don't get really direct sun and weather except for the edges. And it cools our bedroom in the summer.
Crabapple tree.
So we were just noticing like some kind of crabapple tree out there. But I just needed to document this because Scott and I are not meant for this type of labor. Actually, Scott maybe is. He just chooses not to do this labor, but I'm not meant for it really. It's all, I'm always joking how we don't deserve an old house, but we need to like do some major projects. So this is one of them. We're just about to leave our house and go to Quick Sketch in my studio, and look what I see in my window. Oh my God. I'm actually not going to tell Scott because he will spend 20 minutes trying to get this snake or photograph it, and we really have to go. We're kind of running late. We're trying to help you. Do you know what kind of snake it is?
I can't completely see its markings.
I wish I got the recording. It was so cute. Both kitties were sitting right here looking up at it because Scott was looking up at it.
It looks like it might be this kind here.
What kind?
Oh, it doesn't say.
Oh, wow.
Picture there. He's got white underneath his neck. This one out of here, so yeah. But I'm not exactly sure what kind he is. Yeah.
I did get some close-ups of him before,
Yeah.
but we have stored this wood here for our wood burning stove in our kitchen, and since we're not really going to use that anymore, I probably think it's a good idea to move this because it probably attracts
hiding place for snakes.
Yeah.
And
maybe termites and
I'm
stuff.
not exactly sure what kind this is.
All right, so you need me to get some kind of magazine or a flat piece of cardboard.
Well, it's something that's stiff. So like if we have any like museum boards or mat board, thing like that. So I'll just... So this little guy was hiding in our window, on our windowsill, and so I wasn't exactly sure what kind he was. I usually just catch him with my hand, but he's so small, it's really difficult he curls up. So I just got him in this, put this on it, and then put him in the box. I'm gonna let him go now so he can be free. So let him go now. Go ahead, buddy. Go live your best life. Yeah, there he goes. And now I'm gonna kind of look up and try and see what kind he is. Alrighty, good deal. There's my studio over here, and oh, there's a deer. Oh, deer just dashed off. And there's the back of my studio. So, good day to set a snake free.
So this is what Art Talk looked like. It kind of actually looked like a newspaper. And November of 96, and I flipped through it, and this is Hamdy Hughes. So remember, I don't know if you saw another part I was talking about. So Hamdy Hughes was in, oh my gosh, no, this just says Hamdy. So, okay, so I guess it was just Hamdy in Fredericksburg. But look at that, Ramon Kelly. Oh my gosh, he was so famous when we were in school. And this is Scott's. So that painting is 40 by 30. Even in black and white, you could tell it was very thick and very brushy, and whoever else is in this show. But I flipped the page and look, here's Nancy and Rose having a show or doing something at Pam Driscoll in Aspen. Oh my God, that's such a great painting. So iconic, both of those. And you look at, they're in color. So obviously the galleries had to pay extra to get their pictures in color. And Scott did not get that. So Greenhouse Gallery, International Masters of Fine Art. Yeah, they used to have, I think, this big kind of show, invitational show. And I just wanted to show the one that Scott did. Now that is our neighbor's niece. Her name was Maria, and she posed for us for years when we first moved here. So one of those fancy wedding dresses that I was telling you about, and obviously just getting some kind of gauzy fabric, and she looks kind of like a bride. I'm sure that is pretty big. I'm sure that is like a 30 by 40. But, yep, this gallery isn't around. If it is around, I don't know. We haven't been in that gallery for a long time. This was kind of fun to see. This is obviously a brochure for the Palette and Chisel, the club where Scott and I met, Chicago, in the Gold Coast, 1995. Oh my gosh, so that is me. I used to wear jumpers or dresses all the time. Yep, this is the 3rd floor of the Palette and Chisel. And this guy was kind of a weird dude. And he was there all the time. I kind of think, if I'm not mistaken, he got kicked out for bringing a gun. I wasn't there at the time. Scott probably knows more than me. But yeah, it's just the Palette and Chisel, like a brochure about like what's offered, the classes. When Scott first joined, there was no classes at all. Oh, there's the painting Scott did of me and him teaching, probably. Scott, I think, was the very first person to do a class there, and it was a drawing class. So, but I thought, that's a cute photo. I always look so frumpy, but oh well. Now, when we lived in Chicago, there really was not any traditional galleries. Nire Gallery opened up, I'm going to say, around 94 maybe. And for a few years, it was very successful. I mean, for us, it was 2 daughters. So 2 probably girls in their 20s ran this gallery in a really great building in the near north side. I can't remember which street it's on, but it's great. You know, Scott actually made a print out of this. Actually, Somerset made it for Scott. And that was just a fantasy piece. We had a model, and Scott kind of made this costume up in the hair. Let's see. And that's one, like a charcoal. Is that a charcoal? Yeah, no, that's a charcoal painting. And look at this. Opening June 16th. Oh my gosh, Scott had a one-man show. Holy cow. No, in the days when we didn't mind having shows. I don't know. Like nowadays, I'm too scared to have one-person shows. But this was the card for his show. And yeah, for a while there, Nire Gallery. It was so great to have a gallery that we could live in the same city. Yeah, I even remember my dad, like, gallery sitting there for like a couple Saturdays. No, it's too bad. You know, things like this, they just don't last forever. And we've just morphed and gone through multiple different galleries. You know, over time, you just have to. But no, this was a good memory. Nire was a good memory. I thought I would show this. The one and only time I've done a plein air show. I could not believe I agreed to do it. I think Scott was invited in 1999, the first year he ever did a plein air show. I think it was the first year that Laguna Beach did it. Look how short my hair was. Oh my gosh. Well, for some reason I got talked into it, and I guess I felt like I was always saying no to things, and it was a stressful, horrible experience for me because I hated painting on demand. I'm not good. I wasn't good at landscapes. I did do 3 pieces. I priced them so low. I mean, like, literally, they were the lowest things, and I never took photos of them. So I do not even have an idea. Some people have those paintings, and maybe they'll show up and haunt me, but there you go. That was my idea. Yeah, I don't need to keep this, but you see, I keep these things for memories, and then it's like just an excuse to tell a story. Oh, I just remember being so scared. I remember Matt Smith was staying at the house right next to us, and Scott and I were painting in the backyard of Mary Linda. And oh no, was it Mary Linda Mascarin yet? No, it must have been Syme Chalian. Yes. Okay, because I remember Matt saying, "We want to come see your work." And I was like, no, you can't. But I mean, those were fun memories the very first few years. And Scott did that many years, and it was so successful. And then life changes or morphs or whatever. And after doing it so many years, Scott just didn't want to do it that again for a while, you know. But that was the very first and only year I did it. When Scott was in school, he said that to make money at the American Academy, they would have a board for jobs, all kinds of illustrations or who knows, anything. And this was one of the ones that was a big deal for him. He was able to do Muddy Waters for some kind of brochure or some opening. Let's see, does it even give a year? I don't know. On Broadway, Black Ensemble. But this was a pretty big deal for him. It was in the newspaper. It was probably in the foyer of the concert. I'm assuming it was around 88, maybe 89. But yeah, no, I mean, we'll keep this. But yeah, no, this was a big deal because Scott just worked his butt off in school to like commissions and anything that was on the board he would do. Another Society of Illustrators, 1987. And Scott, this is Scott's right here. Unfortunately, they printed it in black and white. So number 16, yep, Scott Burdick. I could tell that this was probably a watercolor. And these were pictures that Scott would take from the Renaissance Fair. So before we could travel, you know, and especially even when him and I first started going out, we would go to the Renaissance Fair, which was north of the city near Wisconsin, and we just take tons and tons of photos. In fact, the first painting that my dad bought of Scott's and gave to me was a dancer from the Renaissance Fair. Now this looks like an illustration Scott did for a book. Mystic Journey. Oh, written by David Zale, illustration by Scott Burdick. I think David Zale was a student with Scott. But this is fun. You know. Mystic Journey. That's pretty cool. This is a glossy photograph, so it's catching a lot of glare. We'll keep this photo, but this is a photo of Scott. I should ask him where this is. It looks like he's doing some kind of demo, kind of Frazetta type stuff, and probably some of the things that he did maybe to get his scholarship, or maybe when he was a senior in high school. I mean, look at that hair. When I met Scott, his hair was curly and wavy. And then, you know, soon after it kind of went straight. But that Scott kind of looks like a tough guy, right? But some of his illustrations. So I'm assuming he's around, yeah, like 18 here. Maybe 17, I don't know. I'll have to ask him.